So let's get to Thursday Night Football, shall we, Lions-Packers? The line opened at 1.5 in favor of the Lions. It's now currently at 2.5 in favor of Detroit. But first place in NFC North is on the line in this matchup between two and one teams. Brad, I know you are moving this line around a little bit. Tell us what you're thinking in this one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy right now in these splits with this game being played in Lambeau Field. But I'm going to raise a lining Kugels to the Green Bay Packers. And on this SGP, I'm going to take an old spread of Green Bay plus 7.5. And also both teams to each score at least a couple of touchdowns in this one. You slap that together right now, it's minus 105. So very viable juice there at BetMGM. You look at Green Bay, their top 14 EPA offense and EPA defense on the young year. Detroit, middle of the pack in both of those categories. But again, given the home environment, the short week to prepare, Aaron Jones going to be back in uniform. Christian Watson also going to be back on the field. So largely a full strength. I think the Pack keep this one nice and snug, and they may ultimately score the victory.
Ooh, it looks like Tank is on the same wavelength here. Really liking what Jordan Love's going to do out on the field today.
Yeah, DK, if it's one thing I've learned over the first 3 weeks of the season is that my man Jordan has plenty of love to spread around. And this dude has been amazing. Like, we didn't know what that Packers offense was going to look like after Aaron Rodgers left, but this dude has been a revelation. That's why I'm going Jordan Love over 250 combined pass and rush yards. Like, this dude has dropped more dimes than Derek Jeter over the past few weeks. And, the dead leg is definitely strong in the red zone as well. And I think that this is going to be a real competitive game against the Lions. But the one thing I like is that Patrick Mahomes and my man Geno Smith went over this number. Jordan is only averaging about 243 total yards per game, but that's without Aaron Jones. That's without Christian Watson. He should have both of those guys back tonight, and that's why I think he easily gets over this over.
Well, with Aaron Jones out the last couple of weeks and obviously a bit banged up, not 100% coming into this one, and just how terrible A.J. Dillon has been, an abysmal 2.7 yards per carry. Yikes. I do believe they're going to pass a whole lot more. So I like your play there with Jordan Love. I'm just going to take his pass attempts at 32.5 because if the last 2 weeks are any indication, the Packers scoring is definitely going to have to come through the air. And because their ground game has not been what it should be, especially last week, they had to dig themselves out of a hole because of what happened last week on the ground game. I do believe that there's going to be a bit more passing happening in today's game. So to give me the over 32.5 pass attempts here. Cam, what about you?
Well, speaking of passing, I'm talking about receptions for the Detroit Lions. I'm going with the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Captain Hook in this one. Captain Hook has been a hater with St. Brown. In the first 2 weeks, he caught 6 passes in weeks 1 and 2, but really exploded in week 3 against the Atlanta Falcons. 9 catches, 102 yards, and also averaged 11.3 yards per catch. So I like this matchup with him and Keshawn Nixon because Keshawn Nixon of the Packers is easy money when it comes to this. He's allowed 10 of 11 completions when facing off against guys in the slot and also giving up 89 yards and a touchdown. So it looks good for St. Brown to hit over this at 6.5.
And the Lions have beat the Packers in 3 straight meetings. You think it's going to happen again?
I do, Brad. I'm more of a New Glarus guy than a Lion Kugels guy, but right now I'm raising a glass of Bell's Oberon to the fine folks of Michigan. I've got the Lions. I know the Lions growing. It's grown within the last hour from 1.5 to 2.5. But look, Detroit went in there on the road last year and beat these guys when they had everything to play for as a home team, and that was with Aaron Rodgers. The Lions are improved from last year. The Packers are worse from last year. They have a common opponent so far in Atlanta, and we saw how both those teams handled the Falcons. I think the Lions are a better team. They already went into Kansas City a couple weeks ago on a Thursday night. They're not going to be intimidated by the Lambeau Field environment. Give me the visitors.